The government has flagged another change in its border protection policy on asylum seekers. The government now says it's considering releasing families who arrive by boat into the community on bridging visas. Let's go straight to Canberra, where Sky News political reporter Laura Jays joins me. Laura, take us through the details.
Well, this is something that the Immigration Minister Brendan O'Connor had flagged back in March, so it has been in the works for some time. This all comes in the context of the border protection policy and the asylum seeker issue. Well, the boats really aren't slowing down. Last month we saw a record month with more than 3,000 arrivals. Just in the last few days since Friday, there's been 9 boats arrive with more than 1,000 people. So this is an ongoing problem for the government, and we know there is a stalemate when it comes to policy. This is one of the areas that is very highly politically charged, and the government haven't been able to find a solution. So now it looks like that families that arrive by boat, some of these fishing boats, these rickety boats you can see here now on screen, well, they, instead of being sent to Nauru or Manus Island, could be released into the community on bridging visas. This means they get a below minimum wage allowance. Some of that covers their rent, but there's no rights to work. And the government, in a statement released shortly, stresses that at any time they could still be sent to Nauru or Manus Island under the no advantage principle. So we will be hearing some more on this from Brendan O'Connor a little later.
Now, Laura, the government preparing the budget, which is a week away from being handed down, and Penny Wong says the revenue shortfall is worse than predicted.
That's right. We have heard the government ministers, the finance team in particular, preparing the ground ahead of this budget that will be handed down in just less than a week's time. We've heard Julia Gillard talk about the write-down in government revenue. She warned just a week ago that it would be that it was $12 billion since MyEFO. Now Penny Wong says the latest figures are in the last financial year there's been a $17 billion write-down in government revenue, mainly because of company tax receipts being lower than expected. Take a look.
What I can confirm is that the impact in the current financial year between last year's budget and this year's budget looks to be in the order of $17 billion. So that is a very substantial write-down of $17 billion.
Now, the government has already warned there will be savings across the board. The burden will have to be shared by families, business and corporations alike. And this morning, Penny Wong confirmed that some of that pain will go to families. Families under Family Tax Benefit A will no longer be getting an up to $600 a year more promised in last year's budget. So that will now not be going ahead.
And Laura, Tony Abbott has strongly defended his paid parental leave scheme. Some of his backbenchers, of course, had criticised the policy.
Yeah, that's right. Well, Alex Hawke was the first one, and he did that yesterday. He said that this is not the right economic circumstances to be looking at a $4.3 billion a year paid parental leave scheme, and he was urging Tony Abbott to rethink the policy. Well, Tony Abbott responded to that criticism today from Alex Hawke, really defending his consultation process, defending the timeline, recommitting to this being a first-term priority. This was a strong message to his colleagues this morning.
I say again to my own colleagues, as well as to the wider community, our fair income paid parental leave scheme is a sign that the Coalition gets it when it comes to the reality for modern women and the reality for modern Australian families. We do not educate women to higher degree level to deny them a career.
Now, this is a coalition team that has been very disciplined for some time under Tony Abbott. 4 months from the election, some fellow colleagues of Alex Hawke, at least privately, were expressing frustration, saying that this criticism from Alex Hawke has only hardened Tony Abbott's commitment to deliver this policy without any amendments. We've seen business groups and some former Howard government ministers also criticised the plan, but as we saw there, Tony Abbott remains steadfast on this one. Selena.
Laura Jays in Canberra, thank you.